Only wimps with student debt would agree with me that Ronald Reagan is responsible for the student debt crisis in the United States. Is something somebody as sharp as a partially deflated football might say. Now, I really love comments like this because normally when I have to make videos debunking dumb shit, I have to spend a lot of time digging up facts and statistics so I can explain empirically why a certain person may have the cognitive ability of a decaying stump. But every once in a while, we are given the gift of a statement or a comment that doesn't require that, and the most difficult part of making a video about it is coming up with creative ways to tell them that their skull is proof that nature does not, in fact, abhor a vacuum, while also not offending daddy clock apps, Skynet regulating overlords. And honestly, that is harder than you may think, but it requires less Googling. But like, honestly, what compels a person to make a statement like this? Like, they're not even correlated. Like, explain it to me, Biff. How does getting a higher education or acquiring debt equate to wimpiness? Kind of like your neurons. I'm having trouble making that connection. Some of the manliest men in history were well-educated men. Teddy Roosevelt graduated magna cum laude from Harvard. Sorry, that's Latin for with great praise. Just means that you were more accomplished than like 85% of the other students. And Teddy was such a fucking wimp, he got shot in the chest when he was delivering a speech, and he finished the fucking speech. But I'm sure you could take him, O'Doyle. Before Neil Armstrong, you know, the guy who landed on the fucking moon, got his engineering studies interrupted to fly fighter jets in Korea. He got a bachelor's degree from Purdue. Chris motherfucking Christopherson, the dude who stole a helicopter and landed it on Johnny Cash's lawn, had a Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford. Or is it being poor and having debt because of the lack of knowledge that you're criticizing? I mean, despite your expertise in lacking knowledge, people like Nikola Tesla exist. You know, the guy responsible for you having electricity so you can plug your phone in and say dumb shit on the internet? Dude was a well-educated and certified genius. But I guess he was a wimp because he didn't have the knowledge to steal other people's ideas and use them to electrocute elephants. And I'm sure you don't go to the doctor because they've got a median student debt of like 200 grand. And we know you wouldn't want a wimp treating that venereal disease he got 2 trailers down. And what about teachers who took on debt to get a degree so they could serve their community? I mean, they're all wimps too, right? Tough guys would say, fuck them kids. And on top of that, the statements I made weren't up for debate. It's not like it's something you could just agree or disagree with. Ronald Reagan made fucking college more expensive. I don't feel like that's something he did. It's not something I think he did. It's just something that fucking happened. And he did it because he knew the only way he could keep people supporting his stupid ideas into the future was to make sure that they stayed stupid. And again, this isn't speculation. Roger Freeman, Reagan's advisor, said it. There's a whole quote you can go read talking about the dangers of an educated proletariat. Sorry, proletariat. It means working class people. So what they did is they defunded education and then convinced a bunch of the poors that their inability to graduate 9th grade because the schools are now underfunded and have no resources makes them in some way, shape, or form superior to everybody who is more educated than they are. And the fact that some people continue to fall for this shit is just more proof as to how badly we actually need to fund education. Absolutely nothing but good things come from a more educated populace. Unless, of course, you're some authoritarian jackass who's trying to maintain control over a population. Then them being educated could have some problems. So that's when you start doing things like banning books and restricting internet access and making college really expensive. And while nothing but good things can come from a more educated population, when you have uneducated populations, you end up with Trump rallies and people who buy Alex Jones supplements. And while there are countless talented, intelligent people who choose valuable paths that don't include traditional higher education, unintelligent, uneducated people trying to demean higher education so they can wallow in their own ignorance, well, that is fucking pathetic. Ta-ta.